Welcome again to the Old Principal, 老校长的节目. I am the Old Principal, and we're going to study a little bit of English. And today is a real story from a person that I have personally met. 我亲自见过那个人. And so we are lesson number 184, searching for a lost sheep. 就是要去寻找一个迷失的羊. Okay, so we're going to talk about shepherds and sheep. With that, let's listen to the story as Mrs. Ash reads the story, and then we'll be right back.
Story 184, Searching for a Lost Sheep. Jan Paulsen tells of his boyhood when he worked as a shepherd. It was during World War II, and young men in the big cities of Norway were being drafted into the German army. Jan's parents felt it would be the worst thing that could happen to him. They sent him far north to live with his uncle. Working on the farm, he'd be away from Hitler's army recruiters. At Uncle's farm, Jan was assigned to watch a small herd of sheep in the high meadows above the house. The meadows ranged for miles, an immense table of grass for the sheep. Jan lived with the sheep day and night, making sure they didn't stray into one of the several ravines. The crags and ditches in them were dangerous to, quotes, stupid sheep. The job was boring to a city kid, but Jan learned to enjoy the mountain beauty of the place. Summer ended and Arctic breezes blew down from the north. Jan drove his sheep home and herded them into the fold. But when Uncle counted them, one was missing. "Oh, it's just a sheep," spouted Jan, irritated. "You've got lots of them." "But what about the one that's missing?" asked Uncle. "But it's already dark," whined Jan. "Take my electric torch, flashlight." Jan started out, thankful that the three-quarter moon offered him some light. He retraced the path he had walked earlier, calling the sheep and listening for its voice. He looked everywhere he could imagine a ewe might stray. The moon sank near the horizon, and Jan pulled his fur collar closer to his cold ears. He stopped and listened. Yes, the unmistakable sound of a bleating sheep. Jan found that ewe caught in a thicket. A wave of emotion flooded his heart as he felt an immediate bond. Nothing before or since has moved him so much as finding that lost sheep.
Welcome back. We begin with a person whose name is Jan Paulsen. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that usually in the West, Jan is a lady's name, but in this case, it's a man's name, Jan Paulsen, not even with a J sound. Tells of his 童年的时候所发生的一个故事. Okay, and during this time, he worked as a shepherd. So, what is a shepherd? A shepherd is one who takes care of sheep. 他照顾羊，有一个羊群. So, here is Jan Paulsen. He is a shepherd. This is during his boyhood years. Okay, let's continue on, going on. It was during World War II. 第二世界大战的时候, World War II, and young men in the big cities, okay, in the big cities, 说这个大城市的年轻人 of Norway. Okay, so he is from Norway, but he does speak very good English because I've heard him speak English. Very, very good. But he lived in Norway, and he was in the big cities, and the young men in the cities, now watch closely, were being drafted into the German army. Okay, they were being drafted. What does it mean to be drafted? Okay, 他们要加入这个德国军队. Okay, now, sometimes drafting means, well, it doesn't quite mean forced, but it means very close to being forced. If you're drafted in the army, you must go. There are other words that are a little bit more forceful, but that's a good way of saying that he had to join. Well, if they came to him, he would 他必须 join the German army. Now, if you go on to the next slide, Jan's parents felt that this would be the worst thing that could happen to him. Jan's parents felt, okay, this would be the worst thing that could happen to him. 最坏所发生的事情就是这样 being drafted into the army. So, hey, listen, every parent feels that way. They want to what? Protect their children. The parents felt it would be the worst thing, 最坏的事情如果是发生在他的身上 Okay? So, parents always protective, wanting to 保护他的孩子 So he wants to be protected. Parents say, 必须动脑筋 must think of some way to beat that. So here's what they said. Going on. They sent him far north to live with his uncle. So they sent him out of the city to the far north. 最远最北方的一个地方啊 OK 他的舅舅跟他舅舅住 working on the farm. So here his uncle had a farm 有羊群 OK he away from Hitler's army recruiters. Okay, away from, of course, it's away from the city, but he's also away from Hitler's army recruiters. First of all, Hitler, okay, Hitler. This is the person, this is the leader of Germany, the leader of the German army, obviously. He's the leader of Germany. Now, it says here, far away from Hitler's army recruiters. Now, every army has recruiters, especially like America, where you can choose to go into the army or you can choose not to go into the army. So a recruiter is a person who finds another person to join something. In this case, join the army. So now he's going up and he's going to be working with his uncle on the farm. And he'll be far away from Hitler's army recruiters. Going on. At Uncle's farm, his uncle's farm, at Uncle's farm, Jan was assigned to watch a small herd of sheep. So, 他的安排是什么? What kind of work can a young man do? Okay, to watch a small herd of sheep, which means that he is a shepherd. He is a shepherd. A shepherd is somebody who watches the sheep, takes care of the sheep. In the olden times, long time ago, the people actually slept out with the sheep. I imagine even now they do the same thing. So this is a shepherd. He watches the sheep. So at Uncle's farm, Jan was assigned to watch a small herd, 小群一群羊 in the high meadows above the house. Okay, so they're on the mountains, right? And here's the house, and it says in the high meadows above the house. High meadows. A meadow is 一块草地. Usually in a 森林, in a forest. This is a meadow up in the high mountains. And it says it's above the house. It says the meadows ranged for miles, an immense table of grass for the sheep. So apparently this was big meadows. 这个草地好. Now this is an interesting word, ranged. Ranged. We don't, it's a high-class word for sure, but we don't always use ranged. So the meadows, 这些草地的范围 for many miles. Okay, when they say many miles, that means that mile after mile after mile, you have meadows, grasslands, 草地. Okay, and that's for the sheep. Let's go on. Jan lived with the sheep. Yeah, he did. He lived with the sheep. He didn't come home. He lived with the sheep. He was camping out there with the sheep. Okay? Day and night. Cool. I mean, it's just like camping. That'd be wonderful. I assumed he had some food, and so he cooked his own food. He was to make sure they didn't stray. Okay? Now, when it says making sure they didn't stray into one of several ravines. Okay, now, let's think about this. 他要 make sure, to make sure, 使他们或这个防止他们不要跑掉. Okay? To make sure they didn't do something. So 防止他们. Okay? Make sure that they wouldn't stray. Stray meaning to 跑掉. Okay? 离开那个地方 into the deep ravines. Okay, what is a ravine? Okay, we know what a valley is. You know what a valley is. A valley is 山谷. A ravine is very narrow. It's not a valley, but it's a very, well, you can say a deep, it's like a valley, and 可能也有这个悬崖等等 cliffs and stuff like that. And it's usually a ravine is very steep, Hantou. Okay? Going on. The crags and the ditches in them were dangerous to stupid sheep. Okay. Okay, the crags. Okay, first of all, let me explain, okay, crags. What is a crag? A crag is a rocky, please, 这个石头做的呢, and it's very 很尖的 crags. Okay, we're talking about rocks and ditches. Ditches, go, not 水沟, but they're just places where a sheep could fall, okay? And it's not a good place. And you notice that in our story we use the word stupid sheep. Sometimes sheep don't think. And so we often say stupid sheep. They just don't think and they wander away. They go places they shouldn't go. Going on. The job was boring. Of course, 很无聊 to a city kid. Of course, he grew up in the city. So if you grow up in the city, but you go up into the mountains, then it's very, very boring. But Jan learned to enjoy the mountain beauty of the place. So the city kid, the boy who grew up in the city, 他慢慢地学习 the beauty, 这个山上的美丽 the beauty of the place. Going on. Summer ended. Okay, so summer is past. Remember, we're very north. 这个是北方啊. Norway is a very northerly place. It's north, so it's obviously cold. Summer ended and the Arctic breezes began to blow down from the north. Okay, first of all, it says the Arctic breezes. Arctic, Beiji, breezes. Now, breezes is usually 微风. I probably should have written here winds, 就刮风啊, because these Arctic breezes, they are cold. Okay? Anyway, it says here, 这个北极微风 blew down from the north. 从这个北方往南吹下来. I don't know why. It's simply, in my estimation, strange that we always think of north is up and south is down. But if you lived on the southern hemisphere, 南半球, probably up is south and north is, let's see, south is up and north is down, just backwards. It depends where you live. Very strange. And we all live, 我们所住的世界还是一样的世界. So up and down. Summer ended and the breezes blew down from the north. Jan drove his sheep home. So what does it mean? He drove his sheep home. 他赶. Now, it's interesting. It says here he drove them home, or he led them home. They may have just followed him. He herded them into the fold. 养圈, 养圈. Going on. When Uncle counted them, there was one missing. It's just one sheep, spouted Jan. Irritated, of course, he was irritated. You've got lots of sheep. When the uncle counted them, there was one missing. 有一个不见. Okay, 有一只不见. It's just one sheep. 只不过是一只羊. Spouted. Spouted means 喷出来，喷出来，是有一点点不高兴的这个态度。And irritated. Oh, see, he's irritated. He's not happy. You've got lots of sheep. You got lots of sheep. 少了一只无所谓啦。Okay, this is a city boy, right? This is a city boy. But what about the one that's missing? Asked the uncle. 这个舅舅就问了，哎，失去的羊，迷失的羊啊，怎么办呢？ Going on. It's already dark, whined Jan. It's already dark. Whined, okay. Whining is kind of 比较高的一个声音呢，所以也不是哭，不过好像的这个蛮有感情的 ，Yeah. It's already dark. 已经黑了。Okay, going on. Take my electric torch. This is very English, right? Torch meaning flashlight, 手电筒。拿我的手电筒。Okay, go ahead. Jan started out thankful for the three-quarter moon that offered him some light. Okay, he was three-quarter. 4分之3的月亮 Okay, so it had some light. 它有一些光线 some light. Okay, going on. 亮光. He retraced the path. What does it mean to retrace? To retrace means that you go back over the exact same route or path that you were originally on. Going on. He looked let's go back here. There, I missed one there. He called the sheep, listening for his voice. 他叫 Hello, sheepy. Where are you, sheepy? Please come. And he listened for his voice. 要听他的声音呢 Go ahead. He looked everywhere. He could imagine 他能够想的这个想象的 he looked where an ewe, a ewe is 母羊 okay, 母的 might stray 会跑掉 okay, so he's looking in all of these places. Going on. The moon sank near the horizon. So the moon is going down. Uh-oh. When the moon goes down, what's going to happen? It's going to start to get really dark. Of course, he has the electric flashlight, 手电筒, but that's not going to last very long. Okay, so here he is, and the moon is sinking near the horizon. 这个月亮就落到这个 how do you say horizon 地平线 And Jan pulled his furred collar. A collar is a ling, and fur is a mao ling, closer to his cold ears. So it's already getting cold, and his ears were cold. Then he stopped and he listened. Yes, yes, the unmistakable sound of bleating sheep. A bleating sheep. What does bleating mean? Bleating means 咩咩的声音呢 the bleating, crying sheep. He's bleating, he's crying for help. Unmistakable, 根本 it's very clear that this is the missing sheep. Going on, Jan found the ewe. Okay, this is the sheep, the mother sheep, caught in a thicket. 卡在这个灌木丛那个地方，卡在这个地方。Why? Because it has lots of fur, the wool, and it gets stuck in these branches, in the thicket. Thick means 很浓, or it means that there are lots of plants and brush and 灌木丛 and 等等. A wave of emotion flooded his heart. Of course, 他是有非常感激 as he felt an immediate bond. Of course, he felt he had worked so hard to find this lost sheep. And so, 心理上真的是有一些感受 going on. Nothing before, this is what he said, nothing before or since has moved him so much as finding that lost sheep. 他这个以前以后所感动的就是这么一次 okay, the emotion of finding the lost sheep. Well, we have an email address and you can write to us. I hope that you don't have to chase down lost sheep, but it's a wonderful experience if you do. theoldprinciple@gmail.com and our website www.theoldprinciple.org. Hey, it's great to have you with us today, and we hope that you'll join us next time.